Notes from the Underground, made in 1864 by Fyodor Dostoevsky, was a book that dealt with existentialist beliefs, although not really knowing it, as a response to a separate book that was released around the time called What Is to Be Done, as it dealt with ideas that the underground man valiantly disagreed with. This book dealt with the early ideas with existentialist beliefs, such as the normal man, and disputed what is to be done in subjects such as rationalism and individualism. Without even knowing it at the time, the underground man led the development of existentialism, and is still applied today within today's society. Existentialism itself is an interpretation of human existence in the world that stresses its concreteness and its problematic character. Existentialism deals with anxiety and authenticity, freedom, situatedness, subjectivity, existence preceding essence, irrationality and absurdity, individualism, and the general public. Notes from the Underground was created in a time where most books were complimenting the public, or the normal man, as Dostoevsky called it, so this book originally struck its audience as unordinary. One reason it may be tough to create an exact definition on existentialism is because the ones who pushed it actually had quite different perceptions and definitions themselves on the human condition. For example, some existentialist thinkers, such as Fyodor himself, believe that freedom is hard to obtain. This is shown by several parts of the text, comparing man to a mouse, or talking about the illusion of freedom with acting for a reason. Immanuel Kant, another big philosopher of the time, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, believed that free action is impossible unless we formulate our reasons independently. More specifically, we must decide for ourselves what is a good reason for acting. The underground man generally agrees with this statement, except for the idea that reasons based on any concept of a perceived good can ever really be our own. Yet another philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, stated that the amount of freedom we have is terrifying because the fact that the world is meaningless by definition of the absurd means that there are no physical or actual rules or codes to follow. Jean-Paul brought about the idea of living authentically, which meant that you have to come up with your own code yourself and not by what others tell you. You can only assign meaning to your own life. The philosophical definition of absurdity is the search for answers in an answerless world. Humans are animals that need meaning, yet we live in a world without it. Philosophers believe that since the world lacks a reason for its creation, it exists without one. This means to them that there are also no real rules or definitions to follow, such as fairness and order, which is strongly mentioned within Notes from the Underground, with calls to the wall and society itself. There's also this belief brought about by Sartre. I have no idea how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Anyways, the authorities you look up to for answers, ones who make rules or not, are just like you, searching for purpose and or meaning, and don't have any because the world has none. This brought about living authentically, which was mentioned earlier, as well as having bad faith, which is a refusal to accept the absurd. This occurs when you want to be like someone else or follow their path instead of your own. Existentialism today still follows the principles it used to, and is an interesting study because of how much it still fits just as well in society right now as to when existentialism was created. Some may think there is too much of this belief in society, and proves this book's relevance through hundreds of years. Existentialism in several books, such as Notes from the Underground, are even involved in current controversy in certain regions. For instance, as recent as November 2018, this book, among hundreds of others, was banned in Kuwait. Again, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I probably am butchering these. Anyways. Reason apparently being because it either insulted Islam or Kuwait's judiciary, threatened national security, incited unrest, or committed immoral acts. Dostoevsky, as well as others, contributed a major amount to the beliefs of existentialism, and is still being developed today. There is still open discussion on certain topics of it, and with that mentioned, I draw this video to a close. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, or learned something new or interesting. Time for me to believe in existentialism. Ha! Okay, that did not work. Oh my gosh.